think we should also talk about raw marriage.
There is a gritty side to marriage that a lot of people just don't show you. You're realizing this marriage, this relationship doesn't make me happy. And that's when you go from being just a typical everyday marriage to having holy matrimony. All right, so what do you want to fight about today?
Everything.
Why do you want to fight about everything all the time?
Because. Why not? Because you get on my nerves.
I get on your nerves?
Yes.
Like, all I want is peace.
And all I want is peace.
Then why do you disrupt the peace all the time?
And why do you disrupt the peace all the time?
I don't disrupt the peace. Look. If you ask me a simple question, it's a simple answer.
It is?
It can be.
No. But nothing's simple with you.
See, look. I'm a very simple man. Very simple. Very... No, seriously.
Seriously? Okay.
If you approach me, if you ask me a simple question, I will provide that answer. And you don't have to read into it.
Really?
I don't mean anything else than what I say.
Really?
Really?
Then why you just don't say that? A lot of people are going to read into it. It's not just me as your spouse, but a lot of people might read into sometimes some things what you say, dear.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yes, it does. It makes complete sense.
How can it make complete sense if it doesn't make sense? So.
Talking over each other.
What?
Really?
What are you talking about? What?
You do it
every time you try to do something.
So that's
every time I try to say something.
Stop.
What?
That's what I'm talking about exactly. Oh my gosh. So that right there will cause someone to have an issue because... Stop.
Stop what?
That.
Stop doing what?
Talking over.
See, I'm trying to get across to you that I'm not talking over you whenever you're trying to talk and I talk over you.
Really? You just said it. You have issues.
All right. So I get it. Because, sometimes... So one person says something and something comes to mind immediately and you want to reply, you want to respond.
You do, but when that happens, what you should do... Oh, I guess I am an example. We're talking over... What you should do is wait.
You should.
Okay.
And I'm not making excuses here, but it does it's easy to get caught up in the emotion of a conversation and you see, well, there's a string of points being made. Well, you did this, you did that, you did that, you did this is that. And in the middle of that, you're like, but wait, time out. I want to respond to that thing before you move on to the next.
But you can't just categorize and have all that ready?
No. Like I said before, I'm a very simple man.
You poor man.
I'm a very simple man.
Because a woman, we actually can categorize everything that you said.
Yeah, and you categorize, you catalog, and you bring it back later on.
We do. That's just how we are.
You're not supposed to do that.
We're not.
Love keeps no records of wrong.
That's not keeping no records of wrong. That's just keeping records. That's not records of wrong.
Do you see what I'm working with? Okay, so a lot of times conflict isn't so much conflict. Well, it's not a disagreement, but it's a contention. That's what it is. It's not so much conflict, but it's contention over the speaking space. You want to talk, and I want to talk, and we're both trying to take up the same space in the conversation. When I should let you have your space and you let me have mine.
Really?
I try to break it. That was a mansplation.
A man? What?
A
man explanation?
I mansplained it. Because we think in analytical terms, right? Physics. Two objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time.
Really?
Two people cannot occupy the same point of a conversation at the same time.
Okay.
You don't see how that works?
No.
We both can't talk at the same time and listen. At the same time. So, how do you resolve that?
You talk.
What?
I listen.
I listened.
I listen. You talk.
Okay, go ahead. Talk.
What?
What'd you do to the dog?
Didn't do nothing with the dog.
And it's not like I did something with the dog.
Really?
It's your fault.
What's my fault?
The dog.
No, it's not.
Everything about the dog is your fault.
No, it's not. Okay.
Everything.
See how that works? Go back and forth?
Yeah. And I'm just getting you to agree. See, on the other end of, once you get past the contention in an argument, now you have to get to agreement in an argument, right?
Okay.
If we're going to move forward, you have to agree that I'm right.
You must think I was born yesterday. Really? Oh, you're so funny. You're so hilarious.
But agreement is a big part of it, right?
Yes.
If you can't, in fact, that is the most powerful thing for a married couple. Not just to be in agreement with each other, but for the two of us to be in agreement with His will.
First,
when
yes.
all of that comes together, y'all are unstoppable. Unstoppable. But so many times, we just can't get into agreement with each other. We can't get into, what's that word? Alignment with each other.
Yeah.
So what's that thing that we do to help couples get into alignment with each other?
That's our critical alignment.
Yeah, the critical marriage alignment.
Yep.
Golly, because whenever you and I did that, before that, whew, you thought I was just being
Crazy.
a jerk. You
Yeah.
thought I was just opposing you. You wanted to go out and just go shopping, spend the whole afternoon just filling your tank with stuff that drains my tank.
Yeah.
And when you finally started to realize, hey, I am draining his tank.
Yeah, because the reason why I did not know that critical marriage alignment has the assessments in there. And the assessments, and if you go on our website, it does say on there about assessments.
Yes, it does.
And assessments are the key.
Oh, my goodness.
Because you know what your spouse is like, that your spouse knows exactly what you're like. And what happens? You won't be having a whole lot of conflict in your marriage and trying to talk over each other, or i.e. any of all of that, because y'all can understand each other better.
Well, you still do try to talk over me.
Well,
A lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Really?
But now we understand what's happening. I know that you're not just being a jerk, because I know it's just kind of built into your temperament, and I can accept you and extend grace.
And because I'm the extrovert and you're the introvert. So you want to get all your information and put it in a little bucket.
Well, I want to process things. I want to get... I
want to talk and get it out. Like right now. And I can't do that because that's just my temperament. But hey.
So...
We work okay together though, so...
Yeah, we kind of work together in that regard. You fill in gaps that I have, and I fill in gaps that you have, even though you want to say that you don't have any gaps, you do, and I help fill them.
Okay.
Oh, you agreed to that. See, we're now in agreement. And finally she realizes I'm right.
Nope, that is not what I said. Filling in gaps, that's just helping out. That's just okay. You're hilarious.
I love you very much.
I love you too.
That's wonderful.
You know what?
What?
I think we should also talk about raw marriage.
What does that mean? What does that even mean? Is it like raw cake batter?
I am glad that you asked what exactly is
raw cake batter is sweet and
I said
yummy.
raw marriage.
I asked if it's like raw or even like raw cookie dough.
Stop it.
What?
Why is everything gotta be food? We're trying to keep our stomachs off camera, remember?
And another area that we're in agreement on. So, why is it not? Okay, yeah.
So, getting back to it.
Raw marriage.
Raw marriage.
Raw cookie dough.
Stop.
Raw cake batter.
Stop. Raw marriage. Be serious. Raw marriage. And I'm glad that you asked, what exactly is that? That is us talking about the raw facts in your marriage. That is having, when we turn the camera on and say, you know what? You have gotten on my nerves for 2 weeks straight.
But
there's no but.
Yeah, there is. That's I don't do that. See, you get on my nerves and I just kind of let it go.
That's not how this works. We need to get that out. So in raw marriage, people do not need to just keep it putting stuff what they consider. They just sweeping stuff underneath the rug. That is not how this works. In a marriage, if we have a disagreement and we are not in alignment with each other, we need to discuss what the issue is. And if I said, you've been getting on my nerves for the last 2 weeks, I think you need to know exactly why you have been getting on my nerves for the last 2 weeks. Because if I don't say anything, you just gonna assume that I'm okay.
So let me ask you this. You bringing these issues, these annoyances to the forefront and putting them on the table.
Okay.
What is your point in doing them?
Because I feel like in marriage, a lot of people, we get to a point in the marriage, and again, this is not my first rodeo. Of course, I've been on this rodeo now 3 times. You have been on this rodeo now 2 times, which means we know about marriage. We know the not fluffy stuff about marriage. Marriage is not fluffy. It is not.
Even if you are. Even if not you personally.
Yeah.
Even if I am. Even if you're fluffy, marriage.
Okay. We're not talking about the fluff. Okay.
Not fluffy. Okay. So yeah, we've got issues in marriage.
Yes.
Everybody has issues in marriage.
Yes.
And sometimes when you see a couple or a marriage ministry talking about how to fix things in your marriage, you can start to think, oh, wow, that couple doesn't have any issues. Or there's this whole group of people who have perfect marriages, but ours is broken. Ours is busted because we're arguing all the time, because we can't come into agreement, because we're not in alignment on these things. And it seems like you're just so disjoint. It feels like things just are always in a matter of friction. And you look at other people's marriages and you've got these people saying, oh, yeah, just do these things and have fun over here. Keep dating each other and have fun together. Those things are important. Yes, they are. But you also got to acknowledge that no one's marriage is that pristine perfect.
No, not at all.
There have been so many times when we've talked with someone that on the outside their marriage looks so amazing.
But I guaranteed on the inside, they're having, there's some discussion. And again, we have to say this about that also. It could look like it's great, and they actually may be having a great marriage.
It's not like they're major issues. It's just that there's some friction in it that keeps it from being as you see it as a smooth, well-oiled machine, but it really isn't. There's some friction going on, and that's part of marriage. That's part of the reality. There is a gritty side to marriage that a lot of people just don't show you. But whenever it's said, one of my favorite books, The Sacred Search. Okay. It goes on to say that marriage may not have been meant to make you happy. Maybe it was meant to make you holy. It kind of goes back to what the Bible says about loving your neighbor. Anyone can love someone who loves you. Anyone can be nice to someone who's nice to you. But the question is, can you continue to love? Can you continue to be nice? Can you continue to have those acts of kindness? Can you continue to have those types of goodwill, that heart to love, even whenever someone is not particularly good to you?
Yes, and we're supposed to have that.
We are, but that's kind of difficult to do. But then it goes into marriage as well, right? Okay. It's so easy at the beginning of the relationship when you're dating and everything's perfect. She can do no wrong. He can do no wrong.
Okay.
And all the jokes are funny, right?
But that's because, and during the first part of marriage, you have rose-colored glasses on because that's why you thinking that everything is okay. That's not good. And the reason why, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to talk over you. The reason why that's not good, you can miss things. You can miss red flags that are going to be very, very important when you decide to get married. And those red flags are going to be sitting there, and you're going to be like, oh, I didn't know this person was like that. Because you had those rose-colored glasses on. Again, that is another reason why to do an assessment.
Well, yes, exactly. And what I was trying to get to, at least I think, trying to get back to that thought, was that at the beginning of the relationship, everything just gels fine, and you don't feel like you need to rock the boat, adjust anything. You're just so happy to be in that relationship. But as you get past that point where the rose-colored glasses fall off, those brain chemicals just kind of dissipate. You're kind of off the love drug, and then you start to see things as how they are, and your flesh starts to rise up a little bit. Now, at that point, you're realizing this marriage, this relationship doesn't make me happy. In fact, if you're not a happy person, your marriage isn't going to make you happy. However, putting up with stuff, extending grace, just like God did with us by sending his only son to save us even while we were still sinners.
Exactly.
That is the most amazing example of grace. No matter what you were doing, all you got to do is believe and you're saved. You have received the gift. But how many times has your spouse wronged you and you felt like, well, I'm just not going to give them this gift that I had planned to give them? Because they crossed me, because she vexed me.
Yeah, but that is a merit-based.
That is a merit-based system, and then we got to get away from that. So if you can get away from the merit-based system, then that's when you go from being just a typical everyday marriage to having holy matrimony.
I get it.
And that's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is a very beautiful thing.
You're a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love what you do with your hair. I do.
I appreciate it.
We are in agreement with your hairstyle. No. Okay. So, what are you trying to get to with this talk here today, as we talk about marriage and conflict and raw marriage, and what is your bottom line to share with everybody?
We need to be okay and showing the grace when stuff is not, when we're not in alignment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's a difference between compromise and capitulate. Capitulate just means, hey, I'm going to give in. Compromise means that you find a middle ground.
There you go.
And you're going to find times when one or the other is appropriate.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, the conflict resolution? How much of the conflict resolution have we learned about for a very long time?
So much in our studies, in our practice about conflict resolution, and it really comes down on a case-by-case basis. One of the best ways to do conflict resolution and staying in agreement with each other is to bring in what we'll call a companion couple and help you weigh your different points of view and opinions against the word itself.
Exactly.
And sort of be, I don't want to use the word mediator because that just sounds too legal, but it's more like trained friends that help you get through these things without taking sides. The only side that there is a side of kind of like the angel who met Joshua outside of Jericho.
Okay.
Joshua's walking up. He says, "Well, whose side are you on?" And the angel's like, "I'm on God's side."
Exactly.
And at that moment, Joshua showed reverence to the angel. And Joshua was trying to figure out, do I need to fight you or do I need to accept you? And when the angel said, look, I represent something higher than you, then the choice became obvious.
Exactly.
And that's what a companion couple will do for you. It's not like they're God, it's not like they're an angel, but they're an unbiased point of view that helps you stay in alignment with His will.
And I think every marriage should have a companion couple. You should have somebody that's going to be able to sit down, like you said, with you all, and as you all are talking different topics or different things out again about raw marriage, then it's definitely good to have, someone else. And definitely it is really good to have someone else that's been in marriage. Yes. And has been through some things in their marriage.
Yeah, sometimes you take a look at your therapist and you accept that they're trained. They accept that they've got the history of having a long marriage. And then you start to ask yourselves, well, have you actually been through the worst of it and understand how bad things can get? And I'm not saying that you have to have that. I'm not saying that you have to have a therapist who has the experience of living through a divorce. But that definitely brings a different perspective to things.
I'll be honest with you. I really think that helps.
Oh yeah, it does.
And kind of just going back just a little bit. of saying, this is not my first rodeo and stuff like that. Because not only in our practice, basically, the reason why we want to do so much with the raw marriage is because not only are we're married, of course, but we are licensed Christian counselors. And we know about, what we need to know about the practice part of it. But however, we know about the life part of it, and the raw stuff in marriage. Because, when people come to us, we can deal with them and help them with divorce. Because we've been, through a divorce. We know what it feels like. I'm not saying a person that has never been divorced doesn't know what it feels like. But a person that has been through divorce knows exactly, when you're crying your eyes out and all that stuff going on, and you got all these emotions, and how do I start all over again? We can help people that's been in that. And
we know what's on the other side of that.
Yes.
It's not pretty.
And again, it's not just divorce. We have been single, then we have been married, and then we have been divorced, and then we're single again. So, we know all these different topics, and we know it's not just something we're just talking about. We lived it,
Lived it, trained it, studied it.
Experienced the whole, it's the whole thing.
A holistic point of view, a holistic set of experiences that we bring to you. And our goal, really, it's really to lead marriages to holy matrimony.
It is.
Because not every marriage is living in holy matrimony. When you're in holy matrimony, your marriage actually is set apart from what the world is doing. And that's a good thing, especially if you're kingdom-minded.
What we teach is coming from the Bible.
Biblical.
Psychological, yes.
And life experience.
Yes. All the above.
All the above, with all that in mind, to help you make love last a lifetime.
Yes.
So I'm Rob Hollis.
And I'm Winona Hollis.
And we are
My Relationship Experts.
Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.